I thought I could carry on with my stories about Japan and do part 3 there. So I started school in Japan, and I just used to sort of like attend some of the lessons, and it all just went over my head because I was a beginner in Japanese, but I was just allowed to kind of turn up and just go along with it. I can't really remember the lunch. Oh yeah, I know what it was. You had an option of a school dinner, but I only got that once, but it was amazing because it was, if you heard of it, it's called yakisoba, and it's like amazing, tasty, like fried noodles. But most of the time I used to take a packed lunch, and if you know anything about Japan, you heard of like obento. Obento is a lunchbox with like different things beautifully laid out, and I used to have that, and it's quite funny, like a dyspraxic person trying to use chopsticks, because as a normal in a normal day in my like normal life in my country, I am really messy when I eat, and every time I eat something it always ends up all down my feet, like my clothes and all over the place, however careful I am. It's just part and parcel of being dyspraxic. And then when I was in Japan, then they're not using knife and fork, they're going to use chopsticks. So it used to take me so long. I had like kind of this much rice in the lunchbox, and then tried to like sit with the other classmates and just try and get some of it into my mouth. So by the time you're not very good at chopsticks, there's not much going to make it to your mouth, and it takes you so long. I just used to tell them like I'm going to be a skeleton because I wasn't really getting that much to eat. Yeah, so that's the chopsticks. That was a challenge. Food is really good in Japan. Very like beautifully presented, which is a treat for me because I'm not very good at sort of presenting food on the plate. I like the idea, like I said before, I like the idea of making food and serving it to somebody, but presenting it on the plate beautifully is not my forte. It's more like I told them this when I was in Japan, it's kind of like it's going to end up the same once you've eaten it, so it doesn't make any difference what it looks like when it's on the plate, whereas to them it's sort of like very precise and it's very important how it looks, so that's nice. What else can I talk about with this? Getting to school. Because I was going to high school, I went on the they gave me a bike, like a push bike, like a bicycle, and they have these really big bike racks because a lot of people are using bikes, so when you park your bike there's going to be like hundreds of bikes. You've got to try and remember where your bike is. So I used to cycle. I don't know how I found the way, it's quite amazing really. It was really nice. It was kind of like a really quaint route. I had to go over these little tiny streams and like find the way, and then when I got to the station I had to park the bike and then had to get the train to school. Journeys are quite difficult for dyspraxics, so I'm quite pleased with myself. I managed to do this somehow. Must have had to like buy the ticket at the ticket machine and then get the train and then get into the city, and then what happened? I must have walked to the school. Yeah, I managed it somehow. Then add in when I started the athletics club as an after school activity. It's track and field, which I wanted to join, so I started going to it, and what you do is it's really fun. Like when school ends, all the people that go to whichever club, they all sort of like go towards wherever they keep their bikes or their sort of I think I must have cycled all the way to school sometimes, come to think of it, because we used to cycle from school all the way to athletics to the track, which was based in a different high school. So we used to like all go down to a certain place, and then we used to all get on our bikes and like all cycle across to the track. And it's really cool when you get to the track, then Japanese people are just so good at working together. Like they know what teamwork is, whereas over here we're not really that good at teamwork in my culture because everybody just sort of like tries to help each other. But over there everyone's like doing things that all help to the whole, so it actually works better. So like when you get to the track, somebody was like doing this kind of like preparing, it's kind of like a gravel track, or some, not gravel exactly, some kind of sand. So someone had to like sweep it all around in a certain way, and someone else was like putting some flags out or something, and like everybody was like doing different things. It was just like really efficient. They're very good at like knowing how to work together. And then I always used to get paired up with this girl, she's called Yumi, and we were like, I think we were kind of like the rubbish ones. I don't know, because the thing is I was a sprinter, but I didn't get a chance to tell them that because I couldn't really explain it. So I think they just thought I was quite a slow runner. So they always used to pair us up together, and then we always just used to do this like slow jog for about half an hour, just going round and round the track. I'm not very good at like medium or long distance because I'm too impatient, but it was really fun because she was just really cute. Japanese people are often very cute, and then we just used to try and have some kind of bare minimum. I mean, we weren't trying to have a minimum conversation, but she didn't really speak English and I didn't really speak Japanese because I just arrived, so we just used to sort of like smile at each other and then just try and say bits and pieces. But it was really cute. She always had this like really smiley face for me, and I always felt like she was a close friend of mine, even though we never really talked. So that was fun. And then I remember one day, like, I don't think it was near the beginning, but for some reason I forgot the way, well, for some reason, because of my dyspraxia, I forgot the way home. Because after athletics finished, then we all used to just go off to our own separate ways with our bikes. But I got lost. And then I must have had to, like, I don't know if I looked really obvious at the side of the road, like, panicking, I don't know what, I can't really remember, but somehow or other, I think might have even been some of the coaches' assistants that spotted me, and I was obviously lost. And then they like stopped the van, and then they just told me like just to follow, and then they just like drove at a cycling pace all the way to my house so I could just stick with them. It's so kind. This is the kind of thing Japanese people just do, like on a daily basis. They're not going to just point and go like just go straight on and turn left. They're going to like take you all the way just to make sure that you definitely got there okay. So it's really kind. Yep, so that's it for today.